fact that it seems like they play a lot of big games and they tend to be very hotly contested. So it should make for an entertaining watch here today.
There's Lang Wiedemeyer, the current ASUN Coach of the Year after leading his squad to the NCAA tournament in the spring. We are underway. Longwood going left to right. Liberty from right to left in this opening half. Sun-baked field right now. It's fairly reasonable temperature-wise at the moment. It's going to continue to heat up as the day progresses, and a little windy right now. A crosswind more so than anything else, blowing from the far side toward us, toward the near side, as you keep an eye on the flow of play. Here's Longwood trying to create something early on. There are the current conditions, John. 83 degrees right now, and it is supposed to touch 90 by the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, by 4 o'clock, I believe it'll be up to 90. And you mentioned the wind. It was definitely, it was windy enough out there you thought about it when we were coming in today, and we will keep an eye on that. It's usually a factor here at the Liberty Field.
It'll be blowing at the back here of Homey, who has the first corner of the day for Longwood. And now a Longwood throw from the far side. Liberty clearing it away on the far side. There'll be another Longwood throw. Take a look at our keys to the game for this one, John.
Yeah, let's go with the visitors first. And, Coach Dyer talked about how they are a pressure team, a high pressing team. And he mentioned, things to look for is how high are they able to apply that pressure and how quickly can they close on the Liberty midfield. He mentioned they don't want to be running around trying to close down but not quite getting there in time. When they play well is when they get that pressure and they turn teams over, get into the attack quickly. And then for Liberty, we're going to talk about they need to control the tempo, and they're the home team out here on a roll, and they need to control it by being patient. Right here, Taylor Mason making a great run into the attacking third.
Leaves it for Jamison, who takes the shot, and that's high and to the right, but Mason, really good job setting that up initially.
Yeah, right on cue there. Liberty patiently came through midfield, then they went into the attack. Mason pushing right into that offensive third. True freshman out here today, getting the start, and she's had an effective beginning to her career already.
There will be plenty of local products out there for each side. You mentioned the geographic proximity for these two schools, and so you do have similar recruiting circles at time, and certainly some of the local players all from around this region. Mason giving it to Judon, trying to get it back. Liberty stays with it. Jamison trying to lead Mason. Answers clear it momentarily. Now Brenna Warren with it. Jamison plays it out wide. Now Maddie Oliver near the top of the 18. Oliver has it blocked immediately. And Lancers bring it toward midfield.
Yeah, good action already for both teams in the attacking end. And Liberty and Longwood both looking threatening early here.
Longwood already with a corner kick and a minute of sustained possession in its final third. And Liberty here in its attacking third, trying to create a couple of opportunities, including that early shot from Casey Jamison. Only in the 5th minute at the moment. There's Taylor Mason, who we were talking about earlier, with her strong start to her collegiate career. That includes a game-winning goal. Madison Martin with it right now for the Flames. Jamison again. Jamison gets it to her left foot, finds Judon, and it is sent away by Longwood.
Yeah, good work there by LU, maintaining pressure there in the attacking end. Jamison had an opportunity for a left-footed look, but she found her teammate, and you like that from Liberty, where they're patient at times, but then they push the attack when they got the opportunity.
That glances off the head of Arnone and out of play. So Warren throws it in quickly for LU. Jamison. And comes back to Maddie Ellis right on the Liberty logo. Ellis with plenty of room around her. Calmly collects it, finds Jamison, and now the Flames trying to work it up the far side quickly, but instead it tails out of play. You mentioned control tempo as a key to the game. Usually we revisit the keys to the game a little later in the first half, John, but it does feel as though there's some tempo already early on.
Yeah, there is, and right now Coach Wiedemeyer has to be pretty pleased with how they are dictating the tempo. We mentioned early that Longwood kind of got into it quickly, but now Liberty has gotten control of the majority of the run of play here, trying to find that opening in the back line of Longwood. But they're doing a good job of changing tempo and determining what tempo the match will be played at.
Longwood wanting to maintain possession and slow things down a little. Doing that at the moment. This is Horacek. We talked about her. Starting goalkeeper, senior out of Sunrise, Florida. And a giveaway here by the Lancers.
Liberty playing, really well here in the midfield. Whenever they do give up the ball, they are winning it back quickly or winning possession of the ball. If you're Coach Wiedemeyer, you just love for them to go ahead and capitalize on this run of play that they've had here, and maybe try to get as the home team, get that early advantage.
Burkett finds King. Now Ellis bringing it forward. Ball comes into the penalty area, looking for a cross in front, and Liberty is on the board, set up beautifully by Alexis Salazar, and the Flames strike in the 8th minute. You mentioned the run of play for Liberty and looking to capitalize. Maddie Oliver sprinting back down the pitch as the Flames have the first goal of the day.
Yeah, that's becoming kind of a familiar looking play there for Liberty as they get an attacker onto the end line, finding Maddie Oliver in front of the goal, and she does a great job there just getting her body and what we would call running the ball into the goal. And take a great look at it there, just looked like her right hip, and she just redirected into goal like that. They're up 1-0, and that always changes the tempo of both teams when there's the first goal scored, and Liberty and Coach Wiedemeyer are happy they were the ones getting that goal.
Got a little bonus, Whitney Houston there, as played across the PA system extra, as that was played initially after Maddie Oliver came up with her 4th goal of the year. Salazar with the assist, her first. Little bonus, Whitney Houston's never a bad thing, John.
No, beautiful day, good music.
There's a corner, Longwood trying to answer quickly.
I believe that was one of the shorter players on the field out there getting up for that head on that corner. Meredith King, I believe, cleared it with her head.
Palacios ends up catching it and holding it to shut down a quick response from Longwood. Judon with it right now for the Flames. Longwood setting up the attack again. We sometimes go through the first half saying one of the two teams, and it can alternate certainly, but one of the two teams trying to have more possession, trying to get something in the final third. We are not short of that today, John. Both teams have been creating opportunities offensively, with one goal already for the Flames, a couple of corner kicks already for Longwood, and we're not even 10 minutes in.
Yeah, and our last match that we got to do out here at Liberty was a very entertaining, high-scoring affair, and maybe we're in for that again today.
Very well could be. That was the victory for Liberty over Richmond. 5-2 was the final in that one, so 7 goals in total, and that's what sparked the 3-game winning streak for the Flames. Liberty looking to make it 4 in a row and move above 500 for the season. Since that Richmond game, Liberty played at Delaware. The game originally scheduled to take place here at Osborne Stadium, but the schedule altered due to some COVID protocols and concerns, so the game played at Delaware, where Liberty won 2-0, and most recently at Western Carolina last Thursday, 1-0 the final. Meredith King is offside here, so that play is shut down. King, though, speaking of that Western Carolina contest, had the game-winning goal in the 62nd minute as the difference in that one against the Catamounts, and Liberty winners of 3 in a row as a result. Bruno Warren working hard for the Flames, now working with Taylor Mason. And Longwood takes it over, and Lancers will work it from left to right.
In their last outing, Longwood played UMBC and created 30 shots, Kyle. I mean, that's unheard of. That's usually a 3-match total right there. Unable to convert any of them. And Coach Dyer mentioned that. Very pleased with how they were creating, but also brought up the fact that they needed to be a little bit more efficient in their conversion rate. And by a little bit more efficient, that would be more than 0, because they created all those opportunities, unable to get in goal. Ended up with a draw in a match that they completely dominated, and he was hoping that would carry over here today, and they've looked pretty attack-minded, just unable to convert yet today.
Yeah, they certainly have, and yes, 1 out of 30 would be more efficient, as it turns out, and that's the goal, because not only a scoreless draw in that contest against UMBC, they had the same result in the match prior to that. So Longwood coming in with back-to-back contests where neither team has scored in 110 minutes. Another one was against Western Carolina. We were just talking about them. So you're talking about the last 2 games. Obviously Liberty's already on the board here, but the last 2 games combined, 220 minutes of gameplay, and neither team scored. Horacek coming way off her line, and the ball ends up going out for a goal kick, but Horacek all the way outside of the penalty area there.
That was dangerous right there. She tried to play it one time and just caught Meredith King right on the leg with that clearance, and fortunately for her, that did not go in goal.
Well, Horacek settles things down, takes the goal kick, and the Flames have it again. Burkett. Maddie Oliver trying to race it down. Horacek comes out and kicks it over the head of Meredith King. It stays in along the far side. Ellis races to it for the Flames. And now Mason settles it for Liberty.
Liberty continuing to do a good job of controlling the run of play. They're really in love with that diagonal ball over top, like that one right there to King.
Here's a chance for Jamison. Left-footed shot finds the lower left corner, and Liberty has a 2-goal lead in the 14th minute.
That's a great example of why they're in love with that diagonal ball over top right there. King able to run it down, put a ball into the middle, and eventually coming back out for Jamison to put it away with her left foot. Just a great clinical finish here. Take a look at this. Defender unable to clear the ball, and Jamison left-footed it into the far post, and like that, 2-0. Liberty riding high right now. See if they can keep their momentum rolling. You don't want to let a team get back into a match. 2-goal lead is always dangerous. They'd love to get to that 3-goal lead.
Jamison picks up her second goal of the season. Also has a couple of assists on the year. Liberty in front by a pair. Rebecca Ernest is out there now for the Flames. Found Salazar. Thrown here from Kayla Younger. Flames come up with it again. Liberty with 2 goals and a lot of time on the ball right now for LU, as Ernest has that pass just a tad out of the range of King.
Right now, the high pressure that Longwood had talked about wanting to apply today, just not paying off. They're not turning Liberty over quick enough. Liberty is playing out of it very, very quickly, very efficiently, finding teammates, and then trying to play these, as I just mentioned, diagonal balls over top of the outside defender. I think they feel like maybe on both the right and the left, with King on the right and Taylor on the left, I should say Taylor Mason on the left. They feel like they've got an advantage there, that these young ladies are both very quick, can run a ball down and attack a defender with the ball at their feet, and they're just going to take advantage of that so Longwood can figure out a way to prevent that from happening.
Judon to Ellis, now up to Mason. Mason with a couple of lancers around her, and that last touch to Mason, so a Longwood throw.
We talked about heat earlier, but it will become a factor as the match rolls on, and pretty warm at the beginning of the match, but can continue to go up. And I know these young ladies hope that probably that wind will keep blowing. It'll help them out a little bit out there on the field. We know Liberty will go to the bench fairly regularly. They have a large group of players that have been getting a lot of playing time, and it's been part of the evolution of their lineup, really, the amount of playing time they're getting.
Yeah, lots of depth available for Lang Wiedemeyer and the Flames, and quality depth too. That's a factor. It's one thing to have a roster full of players. That's great. That just makes the printout longer from the website. What we want is players that can go out there and contribute. And that's one of the reasons why in the first 6 games, Liberty has had 6 different starting lineups, because different players have been emerging at different times and contributing in a way worthy of gaining some more minutes in the moment. So it can have pros and cons to it, but especially on a day like today, it's definitely an advantage to have that much depth and those many players that can come in, and the level of play does not fall off for the Flames.
Not at all. And some of these young ladies that are out here playing today, starting the match, they were coming off the bench earlier in the year, and they earned that time by coming in and playing well off of the bench. And it is it's a good luxury for any coach to have that amount of players that can earn playing time.
You referenced the weather, and we don't want to let that go by, because the sun is going to be out all day. There is not a cloud in the sky. Sometimes that's a cliche saying, but I'm looking around the entire sky all the way over to the horizon. There is literally not a single cloud in view. So it's already 83 degrees. It's going to warm up more as the afternoon progresses, and that sun will be in full force all match long. Yeah,
you're right about that. No shade out here today, and It is beautiful to look at, but it can make it hot to play in.
Palacios with it. Has not been required to make a save yet. Longwood has a couple of corner kicks on the board, but nothing doing in terms of shots on goal. Liberty, 2 shots on goal and 2 shots in goal so far.
That was a great job by Maddie Oliver just a moment ago. They played a kind of a hard-driven ball up high to her. Was able to bring it down with a defender contacting her from behind. That's what I think Coach Wiedemeyer feels really good having a target player like that is comfortable under pressure with their back to a defender, able to control a ball, no matter whether it's a good ball or a bad ball, control it and find a teammate with it. And the added bonus is the fact that she has become a real goal scorer for the team.
We're talking about the depth of Liberty, and it's Longwood that goes to the bench in a big way early on. 5 new players just came on for the Lancers, so Longwood using some of its depth as well to get some fresh legs out there and make sure everybody still stays well rested through the first half, with plenty left in the tank for the second half. Liberty loses possession. Lancers going to work. That was Kylie Toussaint there for Longwood. Taylor Mason steps in front of the pass. Mason has a lot of room ahead of her. A couple of Lancers retreating defensively. Mason waiting for some help, finds Oliver. Now Oliver leaves it for Jamison. She plays it out wide toward Brenna Warren, but that pass taken away by Jernigan. But quick step and anticipation there from Taylor Mason.
Yeah, you're right. And as you called it, while it was happening, you hit on the key factor there. She took off, got into the final line of defenders, but had no teammates around, and that's why she had to hold that ball up and try to find a runner coming in late.
Now Salazar takes it away for Liberty. Judon. Back to Ernest. There's Salazar. She had the assist on the first goal today. Salazar, a sophomore on this team out of Troy, Ohio. Her first assist of the year. Liberty with a pair of goals. Maddie Oliver and Casey Jamison on the board. Longwood having trouble getting much going at all right now. Seeming to be defending almost exclusively for the past few minutes.
Yeah, a little bit. As we talked about the keys to the match, and we talked about the pressure and how they wanted to have it happen high on the field and quickly. They haven't been able to get there with much of it, and now they're feeling the effect of that because they're tiring out a little bit. Both teams look like right now they're feeling the effect of the heat out here that we're talking about, and as we mentioned, that it looks like LU will bring in a couple of players off the bench here.
And while they do that, everyone will head over to the bench as we are at the midway point of the first half, and due to the hot conditions, a hydration break will take place for these two teams. So they'll have a chance to go over, hydrate, rest up. We'll do the same here in the booth, and we'll be back in just a moment. A couple of goals for the Flames already, and Liberty leads by 2 midway through the first.
Doing it yourself doesn't have to mean all by yourself. With the Home Depot as your partner, doing's never been easier. You can pick up skills in a virtual workshop. Pick up what you need fast or have it delivered same day. And if you have more projects than you have time to do them, we can even help with that. This is Doing, like never before. This is the Home Depot, how doers get more done.
We did it again. Verizon has been named America's most reliable network by RootMetrics, and our customers rated us #1 for network quality in America, according to J.D. Power, proving there's only one best network.
Liberty leading by 2. Hydration break during the first half here, along with John Cottle. I'm Kyle West. 4 shots for the Flames. 2 have been on goal, and both of those counted when it was all said and done. Maddie Oliver, assisted by Alexis Salazar, and Casey Jamieson adding the second goal. Just a few minutes after that, there's a look at Taylor Mason. She does not have a goal or an assist, but she's been an important factor for Liberty already. Really, you could pick out all 11, honestly. It's been a good effort from the Flames throughout this first 22 plus minutes, and we'll see if that carries through the hydration break as well.
Yeah, we were talking about the conversion rate for Longwood in their previous match, and you just mentioned the fact that Liberty has 4 shots and 2 goals. That's a conversion rate that any coach would take, and 50% is a really high mark.
Longwood has a couple of corner kicks, but not a single shot yet after taking 30 shots in its most recent game against UMBC. 13 of those were on goal, so they had some good looks at some point during that span. Nearly half were on goal, but all 13 saved, and as a result, that game ended 0-0, as did the one before that when Longwood traveled out to Western Carolina, and neither the Lancers nor the Catamounts scored in that one either.
I just noticed that Liberty has had a few new players entered for them, and a couple of them early on that I've picked out. Bridie Herman has come in the match for Liberty, and Zoe Gaffney, I believe.
Herman toward the near side, and there's Gaffney. The ball skips right past her. They are both out there for the Flames. Gaffney taking the spot of where Maddie Oliver was. Here's Meredith King out to Mason. Ball comes back toward King and Gaffney. Now Herman off of her right foot. Arnone has it for Longwood. Taylor Mason takes it away and finds Herman. Good work here from the Flames. Mason trying to find Jamieson. Now it rolls past Jamieson, and Horacek comes out to get it.
Yeah, nearly a great turn there by Jamieson. Let that go through her legs and tried to roll the defender. Horacek able to pick up on that and shut it down.
Jernigan with it for Longwood, back to Arnone. Now Gaffney intercepts that pass. Avery Belk, player who has subbed in here for the Flames, sending it out to Meredith King. King brings it back toward the middle, and now the Flames reverse it over to the left, but that rolls past Herman and out of play, and we will have another wave of substitutions as a result. Longwood bringing 1 new player on, while Liberty has 4 coming into the game.
Yeah, on that last play there, Herman tried to make that overlapping run around Taylor Mason, almost pulled it off. That would have been a really good looking attack there.
There's Casey Jamieson heading off. She had the 2nd goal today. James over to Ellis. Savannah Holmes, her first touch after just running on. Gaffney bringing it to the top of the 18, loses it, but has some help right behind her in the form of Pose. Katarina Pose out to the right with the pass. Flames looking for a third goal here in this first half. Pass intended for Gaffney, headed away. Now Ellis from distance. That comes back out toward Herman. Ernest to Ellis. Flames still with it on the far side. Let's see Gordon, who just subbed in. Has a pass taken away. But the Flames right back on the ball. Longwood, when it has possession, it has been fleeting here for a large part of the first half. Now the Lancers play it back to Horacek, and Longwood will try to have it for a while, but instead, once again, it's right back to LU. Longwood has to feel as though Liberty has 15 people out there right now.
I'm telling you, players coming in off the bench, we talked about it, and they are continuing the high pressure, putting Longwood on their heels, particularly their back line. They feel like they've been under attack all day long.
Belk trying to get to that pass and does draw a foul. We've not had a lot of whistles today. That's only the first foul against Longwood, and only one has been whistled against Liberty.
Yeah, that's very cleanly played match. And as a referee, you would never bring that up, because that's usually that will usually lead to like a really rough second half when you bring that up. But
I got you. I saw say Horacek doesn't handle it cleanly initially, but then is able to clamp down on it and prevent a rebound opportunity by the Flames. Yes, I saw the look of panic into your eyes as I brought up that statistic about the number of fouls so far. Sorry, I'm glad you didn't fall over backward in your chair. That would have been even worse.
No, I don't think we have any effect on it from up here, but it is always, when I'm officiating a game, whenever I think to myself, oh man, this is a cleanly played match, that's when it'll deteriorate rapidly right then.
Pass too far for Savannah Holmes, so Longwood has a goal kick upcoming.
On a day like today, when you can bring in the number of people off the bench and give your starters a long breather like LU is doing right now, it's going to be a huge advantage in that second half. And Coach Wiedemeyer, he's got to be happy about that opportunity.
That is the only spot of shade available in all of Osborne Stadium, so that's a pretty good spot to be positioned, as they are indeed resting up and saving some energy for the second half. Liberty in front by a pair. Still 15 minutes remaining until intermission. Ball across the line. Herman quickly scoops it up and throws it to Gaffney. Pose working to get to it for the Flames.
Gaffney doing a good job up top, you know, maintaining that pressure that Maddie Oliver had going that led to the opening goal. And Gaffney is a player that can play just almost that exact role. And it's a great privilege to have a player to be able to bring in off the bench. And level of play is just at that high level.
She brings a lot of experience with that role coming off the bench. She's a senior on this team, was all ASUN freshman team back in 2018. Played 15 matches, started 6 of them that season, and then played all of 2019 as well. So as a senior, coming in that reserve role, does indeed provide a valuable boost off the bench. Matty Ellis racing to this one, redshirt junior on this team out of Keller, Texas. So some experience out there for the Flames, mixed with a lot of youth and a fresh batch of newcomers as well. But Liberty seems to be finding some combinations that could pay dividends once ASUN play rolls around. Liberty winners of 3 in a row and leading by 2 in the first half here.
Yeah, a really good blend of veteran and young players. We've talked about their youth movement for a while now, but I don't think that youth movement would be possible without the veterans they have, particularly a couple on the back line you brought up. And as a coach, you love having veteran players in your back line, whether you're playing 3, 4, or 5 back there. And Coach Wiedemeyer does have that luxury of a couple real good veterans in the back line that he can count on.
Madison Martin, another one of those. LU with a throw in right in front of its own bench. There's Lang Wiedemeyer. Continuing to see the progress from this team as ASUN play isn't all that far away. Still a few more non-conference games remaining. Home schedule includes UNCW, UNCG, and then Jacksonville State will be here on September 23rd, and that is an ASUN opponent now, as Jacksonville State and other members have brought the league to a full 12 teams. So just a couple more at home, and then Jacksonville State also a home contest. That will be the ASUN opener September 23rd. That's only 11 days away, John.
It's going by quick.
Holmes comes up with it for the Flames, and this becomes a corner kick opportunity for Liberty.
Yeah, great defending there by Arnone out here on the right, able to get that away because it was getting ready to be played in front of the goal onto a couple of LU runners that were there, and a really good job here by Arnone.
Corner played in, cross carries all the way through and out. We've called Arnone's name quite a bit here in the first half. We've talked about Longwood defending extensively, the fact that they've had to defend so much of this first half, but she's been a primary component of the reason Liberty has not come up with more than just 2 goals so far.
Yeah, she spent most of the early part of the match battling with Taylor Mason, and that was a good back and forth battle. Really, both players playing well.
She's a sophomore out of Midlothian. That's in the Richmond area. Liberty with possession again. Here's Belk. Belk takes a shot, and that bends off target. You like that idea from Belk there?
Yeah, I mean, you could tell early on when she turned to that left, she was going to try to put it on frame. Did a good job of wrapping her left foot around it from that angle. Just pulled it a little bit wide. But as we mentioned, Liberty really hasn't taken that many shots today. They just converted very well.
6 is all. And both shots that have been on goal ultimately scored. That was Maddie Oliver, and Casey Jamison followed. All of that in the first 15 minutes of this half. So Liberty is comfortably led by multiple goals for a while now, and it has been a long time since Longwood had much established offensively. 2 corner kicks, both of those were in the first 10 minutes essentially. And even with the couple of corner kicks, Longwood has yet to register a shot, on goal or otherwise. Not a single shot from the Lancers.
Yeah, and early on, I mean, as you mentioned, 2 corners early, they looked like they were going to get into the attacking end effectively all day long, but Liberty back line, back 4 really has clamped down on them, done a good job. You know, they're continuing to gel. We talked about 2 veterans on that back line, and the younger players are coming along, and we just had a Madison Ellis take a pretty hard challenge there. You hope that she's okay. A late challenge.
Yeah, that was Lane Fadley. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, anytime a player making a challenge, they turn their back into a player, that's usually not a good thing. Referees don't care for that, and could have taken a yellow card out right there.
Instead, just a quick word and no card.
That's more, you know, the fact that he didn't yellow card right there is more kind of a result of the fact that it's been a cleanly played match. So he's not worried about the game getting out of control.
There's a shot that sails high from Pose.
Another good look right there. That was a good, you know, get into the attack quickly there, played that ball back for Pose. She one-timed it on goal. Unfortunately, a little high.
Gaffney. Pass ranges over toward Jernigan, who claims it for Longwood. Lancers not just trying to get it into the final third, honestly. At this point, you have to start by getting it into the offensive half of the field, as the ball has been on the left side of midfield for the vast majority of the first. Now, something perhaps building for the Lancers. Arnone bringing it ahead, but that pass trickles toward no one. Now a throw-in for Longwood. We mentioned the wind at the beginning of the broadcast. Again, it's a crosswind. It's blowing from the far side to the near side. It is not blowing either left to right or right to left. It feels, though, kind of like that game last spring, John, where we had 20-mile-an-hour gusts from right to left against Lipscomb, and the ball was almost always on the left side of the field the entire game. That one was more wind aided. This has just been because Liberty has done such a good job keeping the pressure on Longwood.
Yeah, and right here, Longwood with a great opportunity, and this is like taking a short corner kick from a great angle, and Liberty is going to have to be very, very conscientious how they defend here.
Jernigan waiting for everybody to be in position. Just 2 fouls on each team, but this one gives Longwood a chance. Here comes the kick toward the penalty spot, and it's headed toward the goal, but not with a lot of pace on it, and that's an easy play for Palacios.
Yeah, well defended by Liberty. Did not threaten goal with that opportunity, and Liberty would like to get back to the attacking end.
Here's Ernest. A little bit more than 5 minutes remaining in the half.
You and I talked about before the match, Liberty had 3 players in their last match that played 90 minutes, and one of them, the goalkeeper Palacios, but also Brenna Warren and Maddie Ellis. Part of that back line that Coach Wiedemeyer is getting more and more comfortable with.
Jernigan stumbles there. Now the ball comes down to Palacios. Palacios, Big East Goalkeeper of the Year, transferring in as a grad student. We have seen Liberty split time with goalkeepers earlier in the season, but it's been Palacios as of late. And again, accolades and experience providing a good reason for her to hold down the position for now. That was arguably the biggest question mark about this Liberty team coming into this fall with the departure of Melody J-Rowe. How would you replace that? And not only did they replace it at Liberty, Lang Wiedemeyer honestly has multiple goalkeepers he can turn to that he's very comfortable utilizing. Palacios, Ainsley Leah, and you have a couple others in Riley Hill and Rebecca Vine, and he commented a few weeks ago they're all doing great and they all could earn more time as things go along. But again, Palacios holding down the post at the moment.
Yeah, and you hit on it right there. The fact that you had a 4-year starter. Melody J-Rowe, 4-year starter, left the program, and anytime you have that happen, it can be a big deal. But the transfer in and the emergence of the other 3 that you mentioned, you know, that's really been a kind of a lifesaver for the fall here. Liberty would love to create one more opportunity here before the end of the half, as they are in the attacking end of the field again.
Here, Ernest, and Longwood holds it off for a moment. Herman throws it toward Gaffney, and a corner on the way for the Flames.
You gotta like the way Liberty, you know, continuing to work hard to the end of the half here. 2-goal lead. You know, they're not happy with that. They're trying to get number 3 here. They'd be feeling really good about it if they could maybe capitalize on an opportunity off of the corner right here at the end of the half.
Here comes the corner right in front of the goal, and it is put in for the Flames. A 3-0 lead for LU with just a little bit more than a minute remaining in the half. Maddie Ellis drove a beautiful ball right in front of the goal mouth, and the closest player for LU was Lissy Gordon. Not sure if it caught her right foot or one of the Lancers. Either way, Liberty leads by 3.
Looked to me like it may have caught the head of Arnone. She went up for that, but you know, it was a great ball. I don't think even if Arnone had touched it, I think that ball was going in, and you could tell the minute she hit it, it had the perfect bend on it, driven well. You love to see the ball driven off of a corner kick like that, and really gave the impression that Ellis was actually going for goal off of a corner. And there are players, you know, plenty of players out there that practice that, and they feel very comfortable occasionally trying a goalkeeper out. And I get the impression that's what she was trying to do right there.
And that is how the goal is credited. So Maddie Ellis with the goal. That's her first of the year, has an assist on this season. We were talking about some of the veteran leadership, and Ellis's name we mentioned. She's also a Sun All-Freshman team back in 2018, and her goal gives Liberty a 3-0 lead in the final stages of the first half.
Yeah, just a great way to finish. We talked about it, and it happened. You know, and really good job by LU finishing out that half.
The Flames with a couple of